no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death god where his blood flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperial Knights crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of...
Oh no, I interrupted your song, just like GW interrupted my evening by dropping this out of nowhere. Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Disgustingly Resilient podcast. I'm Aiden and I'm here to talk about the brand new balanced Dataslate, which totally definitely wasn't accidentally uploaded by accident by some intern. Uploaded it to the app and then GW panic released it on Friday at 7:30 p.m. I think it was, something like that. Whilst I was out and not in the house, so I could not stream it. So apologies, guys. But now we are here to have a look at it, have a look at like sort of the impact it's going to have on the game. I obviously am aware that Death Guard themselves didn't get any changes, but we'll talk about that still somehow. Anyway, magical. But yeah, we'll obviously talk about other things that have changed in the game, because it turns out if the meta changes, it still affects Death Guard in different ways. So there are a few things we still need to cover today. And hello everybody in the chat, it's good to see you all. Hope you're having a good evening, having a good time here. I'm just going to quickly, I don't even know where my phone is, just in case Dave was going to message me or something as well. Never mind, it's fine. Right, so let's crack into it. So I was doomed to, yeah, literally. So let's get straight into it. So first up, I want to take a moment to talk about the chapter approved tournament companion. So basically, if you are playing the latest chapter approved missions in a tournament setting, you will notice down here that challenger cards are no longer used. Thank God. Challenger cards are officially gone. They're out of the game. They were terrible. They were terrible for design. They were terrible for like any form of play that was anything other than tabling your opponent. So having these, I'll zoom in a bit for you guys just so you can see nice big writing. There we go. Oh, it's such a good feeling to have these cards getting rid of. There was nothing worse than losing a game because your opponent scored like 15 on challenger cards and then pipped your last turn by like 2 points. The incentive now to have to table your opponent and play absolutely viciously is dialed back a bit. Now you can definitely play more primary denial, trading based list. That's a lot better. So I'm actually super happy about this change. I think it's one of the best changes that they could have done, and it was, you know, it was a long time coming. A lot of people were did I say 7 on Facebook? Oops, my bad. That's me copy and pasting the usual template. It is 6 o'clock today. Apologies, Mr. Renegade Sim. Hoopsies. I'm so used to saying 7 p.m. BST. That is completely my bad. I'm just gonna blame it on daylight saving. Yeah, it was 7 like an hour ago until daylight saving came in. Professional as always. So yeah, I imagine a lot of people are happy about this challenger cards being removed. That is generally just pretty good for the game in general and its health. And it does, yes, it does mean that heavy OC lists, mission playing lists, primary denial lists, like even Shamble Rot now gets a big boost from this, because Shamble Rot can do what it does best, which is like denying primary a lot. And same Fireblown Host even gets a nice buff by this. In general, just the game is better for this. You will see more list variety. You will see less Death Star units. I think obviously Death Star units are still going to stay in the game. They're still very powerful, but you will see more variation in builds that are viable in competitive events. So yeah, I mean, just Death Guard aside, this is just good for the game in general. Fuck these things; they should have never existed. I understand that GW wanted to have like a moment where like players never feel like they're out of the game, where it's like, but I'm sorry, if I've put in effort to make you be out of the game and beat you, tough shit. like that's it. You got outplayed, you lost. That is completely fine. So I'm happy to see this being gone from tournament play. I understand it in casual and like just your mates. You obviously maybe want to give someone a chance to get back in the game, but it has no place in tournament play at all. So first up, can we get a nice little F in the chat for the challenger cards there? Rest in peace. Normal miss you, you silly cards. I will burn my deck after the stream ends. So that's cool. So that's very good for the start. Now, from there, we're going to the actual Balancio Dataslate version 3.0. And there's no core game changes, which is obviously still pretty good to see. So there's no core game changes to the game. Nothing crazy has changed up here, so that's fine. So it's basically just back into yes, get the F's in the chat. We're actually just going to look at the detachment, like army changes, only a few. Sisters picking up a small buff to the Retributor squad to make them a bit more viable. Again, nothing wrong with this. Sisters are still, they've done better as of recent. I think this change may actually help them do a bit better. Again, with the challenger cards being gone, brings Retributors to be a bit stronger. Kind of brings them in line to some of the other anti-tank options in the game because, let's be honest, like when you compare Retributors to stuff like Fire Dragons or like Eradicators, they just ain't cutting it. So I'm quite happy to have these guys get a bit of a change there to make them a little bit more favourable. And again, Sisters need a little bit of help. Not tons though. People exaggerate how bad they are. A very good Sisters player is still an absolute menace. So cool to see a little change. Custodes. Nothing here. That's fine. They don't really need any changes. I'm still waiting for the Caladius Grav Tank to have its twin linked actually half its shot amount. That would be cool to see, but no doubt they won't do that. Or remove twin linked. I'll be happy to have that either. But yeah, I can't complain too much. Not doing great. Now, AdMech. This is where it gets a bit interesting. So, Belisarius' Call has basically been reworked. So he's now, he has the Primarch abilities as before. They're a bit strong. He basically can now have the choice to give their army Oaths of Moment. Interesting thing here is they haven't let him have what the Lion and Gilliman have, which is pick 2 Primarch abilities. He only gets to pick 1. His first being Oaths, basically for AdMech. It's AdMech Oaths. Like you pick a target in the command phase, you get to reroll a hit roll against it. Cool, right? So even more hit roll rerolls. Cool. Man, stealth looking real bad these days. Stealth just ain't cutting it these days, Chief. And then they got another one where they can add one to OC characteristics, which is pretty good because it used to just be add one to battle shock tests, which you were never going to pick. So add one to OC. Again, going back to the talk about AdMech could already do really good wave tactics with lots of cheap bodies with good OC. Now with this aura, as well, not enhancement, this change. Again, and the challenger card change, going back to where points really matter, you could see like if anyone played against a good AdMech player, it was really horrible to go against. It was really horrible to go against these OC style primary denial kind of list, and this just gives them another tool to make that even more powerful. So it's really cool to see. And then they also got now an aura of stealth, which is much better than I think it was an aura of cover. Cover is pointless, it's so easy to get cover. So now having a 6-inch aura of stealth is going to, again, nice little build around model. It's a nice little ability to put on when you're not going to pick the Oaths ability. So, like, generally happy to see Belisarius Call get buffed. He also get his little gun buff to go up some damage here and some extra shots. So happy to, and Melt of 3 is also D6 plus 3 within 9 inches. So pretty cool to see. But yeah, everyone wants their centerpiece model to do well. Like, again, Angron probably wants to change to do well. Fulgrim wants to change to do well. So seeing Belisarius Call get this change, actually really cool. Happy about that. $2 super chat from NetcrossDB. Thank you so much for the super chat, mate. Update on how well gross wounds that. I mean, yeah, that list that you made where it's just the most points efficient wounds. Genuinely, like, with no challenger cards now, man, I'm just saying that's looking more and more viable. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'd still do it. But it's definitely, like, again, if it's a damage check, and if someone doesn't pass that damage check, you will run them over. So that's pretty cool to see. So you have to let us know if you try it, Necros. Then we got some changes to Eradication Beam, again, a lot more shots on it. Sustained hits 1 up top here with the 3d3 shots now, and an extra strength 10 here. Again, just making that vehicle a bit more better. Again, the biggest problem with AdMech was the anemic weapon profiles on many of the units. So now we've got the Eradication Beam being buffed, and we've also got the twin-linked the twin Cognis Lascannon and Autocannon both picking back up twin-linked, so keeping the double shots on the twin-linked. Makes those chicken walkers extremely scary again. And then the Sicarian Infiltrators do drop down an attack, I believe, but they pick up something like damage 2 somewhere. Or is it they the Infiltrator, sorry, the Rust Stalkers drop on attack, but gain damage 2 on the Transonic Razor and Razor Claw. And then the Taser Gourd picks up an AP, which is actually incredibly scary. Like, genuinely, that worries me because those guys have a metric ton of attacks with sustained hits 2 on there. So, actually, really good buffs for AdMech in general. I hope it gives them a bit more play. The army has been in dire need of help for a long time. Just look at it. It's sad that they have an entire A4 page trying to get them to be like semi-competitive. So, hopefully they've finally done it with this one. Hopefully there. Nothing for Eldari. Alstrom Militarum, nothing. And rules changes, nothing. Blood Angels picking up weapon skill 2 on Sanguinary Guard. Now this is interesting. I believe the points have gone back up, which I'm glad they were a bit too cheap before. But weapon skill 2, we can't really complain too much. Death Shroud weapon skill 2. Their elite of the elite should probably also be weapon skill 2 to sort of go alongside that. And they pick up an extra attack on the spear as well. So now, like, again, as I'm looking at these, it's the extra AP on the sword, I guess. So it's basically, do you take 1 AP less for Lance all the time? Depends on the detachment, I think. I think if you're in the detachment where you have access to Lance as a stratagem, you probably just keep the blade for the extra AP. But with a lot of things in the game having invulns now anyway, sometimes AP2 can just be enough to get some, especially in melee, where there's no cover to worry about. I can see the spears actually being a good choice for those attachments where you lose access to Lance stratagems, so you can use that, not lose out on attacks, but now you still hit on 2s as well, and you're going to have Lance baked in, which is really nice to see. So, I understand. I get it, guys. I don't get why they weren't weapon skill 2 before. Very confusing. The only thing that's weird with this is Dante's rule didn't get changed. So if Dante leads a squad of Sanguinary Guard, he gives them +1 to hit. But like, why? What does that do? Like, it lets you counter -1 to hits, but just feels weird. Like, I feel like they should have rewrote Dante's rule. It's nothing crazy. Definitely don't give him like +1 to wound or anything like that. I mean, they've already got Lance here, so that would make sense. But like just it's not something crazy. Even if it was just like, you know, oh god, I don't even know at the moment. Something just to make them, like, even if it's just reroll charges, I'd rather have that at the moment rather than +1 to hit when I'm already weapon skill 2. Just feels really weird. Just feels really, really weird. Chaos Demons pick up no changes. I've got a little one here, sorry. They tried to help out the Slanesh Demons detachment. I don't think it's going to be enough. This detachment was taken out back and buried by GW, and the Dataslate changes to the Great Keeper of Secrets, etc. have really buried that detachment. So, cute if you're still playing it. Don't think it's really going to make any impact on actual... like, this up here genuinely will impact the game. Like, Sanguinary Guard, if they haven't gone up too many points, I think they might back up a little bit, but they're still quite cheap. And this, you know, Blood Angels are already really good. Having the Sanguinary Guard, their like iconic unit, get better, quite a bit better. Weapon skill 2 is very good to have. That's definitely going to impact the metagame. This is not. Chaos Knights. Yes, these guys got a change. They actually got some nerfs to some of the stratagems. So the sticky OC5 has been changed to start of the command phase. Only good. This was ridiculous. I hated this fact that you could sticky in every single phase if you had the CP. So you could sticky 4 in a turn if you wanted to. You could do it as you like get shot to death. You just die. It's like, cool, as I die, I'll sticky it. It's just dumb. So I'm really happy to see this get popped to just your command phase. So we're only going to get 1 sticky every battle round maximum. And they can't just reactively do it. So, like, again, if I dropped, like, 6 Death Shroud on a night, 3 Death Shroud and a lot of Contagion on a night, he just looks at it and goes, cool, my knight's going to die. But at the end of the movement phase, I'll just sticky it. So now if you charge and kill me, I'll still hold it. So it was very toxic. It's still an incredibly powerful stratagem, but it's now a lot more fair and it's a lot more in line with other sticky objective stratagems and abilities in the game. So happy with this as well. Then we've got Infernal Knight, Infernal Lance. So I believe... this used to originally give you both of the following. It used to give you a 5-up invulnerable in close combat and a 6-up feel no pain, which may, like, again, for a natural fortitude, that is kind of crazy amount of like durability to just get on demand. Whereas now you have to pick whether you wish to have a 5-up invulnerable, which does work in close combat, or you can have a 6-up feel no pain. So again, it's basically in shooting you're going to pick the 6-up feel no pain. In melee, you're more than likely going to pick up the invulnerable unless you're against only AP2 or less, in which case you pick the feel no pain. Just brings down how tough knights can be hard to kill, and it can involve extra wounds. Feel no pain, we all know from playing against Imperial Knights, is not great to play against. It's very hard to kill stuff with feel no pain, that many wounds. So again, a bit of a balance change here just to bring it in line. Nothing wrong with that. And the Knight A-Bomb, who I genuinely don't think this was needed. I'll be honest with you. So basically the way it was before is that the Knight A-bombs, you could stack their aura, because they weren't technically auras, where you could have, you know, them doing potentially 3d3 mortal wounds a turn in a 9-inch aura around them. But at the same time, like, again, if someone is running triple A-bomb, like, they're kind of, like, leaning into that. That's, like, it's a bit more of a, I'd say it was more of, like, a meme, a bit more of a cool thing rather than, like, a super strong thing. And again, you're only likely to take 2d3, because on a 3-up, they're likely going to fail one of them dice rolls. And again, this is also implying that all these A-bombs are going to be following around each other all the time, which in reality, when you play 40k, doesn't actually happen that much. Like, I can see 2 getting in range of something, but, like, all 3 being in range of something, like, why are all 3 A-bombs up each other's ass? Like, it's realistically not happening. You just play away from it at that point. So, a bit of a weird change. I guess they just wanted to make it like an aura while not being an aura, in which case just make it a fucking aura. I get they won't, because they don't want to give it the plus 3-inch range on it, but still. I don't think it was necessarily a nerf that was on everyone's mind to be needed. But again, but the main one here is super happy with the sticky, and also Infernal Lance being a little easier to deal with in terms of killing them in close combat as well. So Chaos Knights, a few changes there for them. Now, CSM, nothing here for these guys from last time. Dark Angels, so the Lion's picked up the ability to use 2 of his Primarch abilities in a turn. Does this mean we're probably going to see the Lion? Like, being able to go into reserves is really good. Really, really good. And then you can also have real ones to hit and wound in melee all the time. Potentially -1 to... Yeah, the fact is that you're always going to pick, like, the reserves. Or even then, if you don't need to go into reserves, just having an aura of real ones to hit and wound and be -1 to wound makes him a really nice beat stick. So I actually think we could generally see the Lion come round a bit more and probably see him a bit better. We also got the Land Speed of Vengeance picking up a damage 3 plasma, so more damage 3 in the game. Makes sense, to be fair. I mean, if you look at the size of the thing, it probably should have had that anyway. But I do worry about, again, more damage 3 in the game, in a game that's already saturated massively with damage 3 coming out the wazoo. It's like people say, like, at the moment, a 3-wound Terminator, especially a 2-wound Marine, just feels like a 1-wound Guardsman. Like, you would rather be 1 wound and have all the extra points available. Save the points that you pay for the 2 extra wounds, because there's so much damage 3 in the game. But yeah, I think... in general, Lion definitely gets a nice boost here. Wrath of the Rock is already doing okay, so I can see this helping them out quite a bit. I think the Lion, when played well, can be a little menace as well, because of his fight first, and he's able to heroic, and then uppy downy, so he can play defensive, then suddenly go on the offensive by uppy downying. There's a lot of cool things that you can do here in general. So, does it bring Dark Angels to the top of the map? Probably not. But I think it's a nice little buff to them, and I do think if you do come across Dark Angels, you're going to see the Lion a little bit more than you probably would previously. So again, be aware of that. This one, okay. I am both confused and not confused. I am like a proud parent, despite not being a parent and having no idea how it feels. I have a dog. I get proud of Kirby, I guess. I am proud that GW actually looked at the points nerfs, saw the impact to our win rate, dropped to 51%, I think it was last week, and actually go, hey, rather than like pull, because I have heard rumours from people that are normally bang on the money, that we were going to get certain changes involving certain things like Lord of Contagions losing Lance, changes to the 6-inch deep strike to be either 1 to turn, so only 1 unit can do it, or go into a 7-inch, or even a 9-inch with cap +2 to charge, all these kind of things. And I genuinely thought if those nerfs come in, even 2 CP for 5 crits and contagion, I thought they would actually over-nerf us and not realise the damage that would actually do to this army, and potentially bury us. However, that can only lead me to believe that GW actually looked at some stats in the recent weeks and actually went, actually guys, hang fire on those extra nerfs. Let's see how this goes for now, and we will go from there. And the fact that we got no changes was both kind of, like, in a way, slightly boring, because like I don't have much to talk about for Death Guard specifically, but at the same time also like a massive sigh of relief, especially for London coming up. So Death Guard are basically just taking their points hikes and nothing else. So we still got our 6-inch deep strikes, we still got our incredibly powerful damage output, we still got our -1 save aura. People were saying we're going to lose that as well potentially. So to have no changes is truly like a blessing. And I think if they work on buffing the game around us, which looks like they have done, AdMech buff, Blood Angels buff, Light Dark Angels buffed, then maybe there's not so much of a need to bring down the top armies. You've nerfed us already with some points. Don't have to bring us down too much more. Instead, focus on bringing everyone else around. Now, I would say that is the case. I would argue that is what GW has actually done. However, as we go forward, you might see that's maybe not so much the case. I'll just be 1 second. I'm just going to go grab a tissue and say. Just sneaking off there, gentlemen. Apologies for that, and gentle ladies if there's any in the chat. I mean, you're in the chat. I can see you right there. So yeah. So take what I just said there, and then remember that point, and we'll we'll go down. So okay, we didn't get a cheaper Land Raider. That is very true. We did not get a cheaper Land Raider. Death Watch nothing. Drukhari literally doesn't matter. The new box coming. So welcome to the a very good buff. Flawless Blades finally picking up 4 attacks. Good amount to have. Actually makes them look semi-interesting now. I know Sam's very happy about this, and Imperial Blades, when this is a really good buff. So I'm happy to see Flawless Blades picking up an extra attack. They probably should just always have had 4. 3 was incredibly low amount of attacks to have. With the anti-3 up everything, this kind of starts to give Emperor's Children a more reliable anti-tank, anti-big thing button. So happy to see this, and I always, you want your unique, cool elite models to be usable, so having Flawless Blades get this buff to make them more usable, more attractive on the tabletop. Love it. Great. Always in favour of buffing models that are not playable. And again, I'm always in favour of stop dropping points. Point drops can be so annoying because sometimes you end up having what should be elite armies be dirt cheap. Index Death Guard, for example. Fix rules. This is perfect. Just a little change to a profile. Don't be afraid to go and touch profiles. Totally fine with that. And then you follow up with the most pointless rule I have ever seen. Fulgrim. Each time this model makes a normal advance or fallback move, it can move over sections of terrain that are 4 inches or less in height. So in UKTC, that is nothing. Everything is 4.1 or higher. So nothing there. So yeah, unfortunately there's nothing for Fulgrim there. Does not help his stupidly massive base. So unfortunately for Fulgrim, not going to help him out there. GW, there are ruins that are over 4 inches. Doesn't help him there. And the areas of the board that he can move over are the blue bits of the board, which are already counted as being 2 inches or under, which if you read the rules and the core rule set say that vehicles and monsters can move through them freely. So we already could move through them freely, so nothing there. You can clip corners. That is basically it. You can clip corners. So if the ruin is high and has a clipped corner that comes down diagonally, you can clip a certain bit of a corner. That's it. What I think they should have just done with Fulgrim, to be honest with you, is just give him the night rule, where it's, hey, you can walk through buildings and you can on a 1 you're battle shocked. It's probably the only way you're going to make him back, because the problem is, even with moving through walls, he's still so easy to screen out because his base is so fucking big. You just take up where he can land, because it's massive. It's a 180mm base, like a pie plate, so it's still easy to stop, and I think it's the only way he can... I think it's the only way he's going to be able to become semi-viable with a base that big is to get some form of rule like Knights where he can go through buildings. I don't know, 1 he takes a battle shock. Outside of that, yeah, sorry, champ, Fulgrim, you still ain't making the cut. I don't think, personally, anyway. What do you guys think in the chat? Am I being daft on this one? No, yeah, okay. You see, yeah, okay, we'll get to T-Sons. Don't worry, we'll get to that one. Oh yeah, if we got a cheaper Land Raider, the internet would have cried their ass off. Thank you, it's a funky looking shit. Thank you very much. True, yeah, that would make sense. They don't want to do that. But again, this is what I mean. Like sometimes they make great choices like this up here, and then sometimes they make a choice like this, which like they understand they designed their own GW format. Like, could one of people just like look at that and just be like, hey, guys, I know you're trying your best in the rules writing department, but on our literal own terrain guidelines, this does jack diddly shit. But again, I digress. Genestealer Cults finally got nerfed. This army was so oppressively overpowered and no one gave a shit about it because like 2 people in the world play it. But if you have played against it, oh good lord, against a good GSC player, it could feel nearly impossible. It was an endless tide of... This is the thing, people always say, oh, GSC, it's an endless tide of bullshit. It's just weak guys in shirts. Fuck off. No, it's not. Like, these guys could kill anything. Their damage was like through the roof. The damage was through the roof. Like, crit 5s, full rolls to hit, you kill you on Overwatch. It was like, gone. And then you shoot them and they go back to reserves instantly. They were so annoying, and then they keep popping up, so you kill a bunch of them. They still have crazy mortal wound output, by the way, like Atlan Jackals, Saboteurs, all this daft nonsense they can do. But they have reined them in quite a bit, which is really, really nice. So, sorry, apologies. So they've made the primed and ready stratagem 2 CP, so that's crit 5 is now 2 CP. Thank God, it was very, 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 very powerful. End your opponent's fight phase, Genestealer Cult from your infantry that is not really engaged. So they go back into into reserve stratagem is not after you've just shot them. It's at the end of the turn basically. So you can, like, the worst bit was having a big 20 squad of like neophytes and looking at it and knowing you can't physically shoot it because if you shoot it, it's just going to go back into reserves and then it'll 6-inch deep strike and kill something else. Yay, how interactive, how fun. So now that's been changed to be a lot more fair. Super happy to see that. Really good change. Sorry, there's something in my eye. It's really, really annoying me. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to perform eye surgery live on stream here. I probably didn't get it, but oh well. Then we've got the select one of the cult ambush markers. You can set it up. Blah, 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 blah. Not really too sure about the cult ambush markers. No one ever seems to use them anyway. And then end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Oh yeah, this is interesting. In Xenocreed, they have like a 6-inch deep strike, but it's now at the end of your opponent's movement phase only. So you can then charge them and shoot them, which is really, really strong, as you can imagine. As you can imagine, that is incredibly powerful. And I don't understand what Tunnel Crawler's changes. I think that's an old one. I think that's where they just can get set up in 6. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of these here are nerfs, pretty good. Oh, also the Primus getting this ability changed is really good. It's gone from full hit rerolls to just add 1 to hit, which is far more fair. And again, I say this out of absolute nonsense because we have so much rerolls to do with crit 5s. But it feels less worse when it's like a 300-point Plague Marine squad doing it to you, composed to like, you know, like 180-point squad of absolute goobers. Feels a lot less bad. And, you know, again, this is supposed to be an endless army of, like, guys in mining gear. You know, they shouldn't be coming up, one-shotting like a Primarch, and then going back down and doing it again. That is some good nerfs here to this army. I'm happy to see. Also, cost a little bit more on Aberrants coming back with the 5-man squad of Aberrants going up to 4 resurgence points as well. So, I'm glad this didn't get overlooked because I was worried that if everything else got nerfed and these guys didn't get looked, GSC would just be back on top of the game, and it's a horrible meta game when when games with Genestealer Cult is on top. Imperial Agents, nothing. Imperial Knights, there we go. Thank God. GW doing some preemptive nerfing here. Happy to see this. So, this one still makes that. So this functionally does nothing. I just want to point out this functionally does nothing, but it's still the worst written rule that I've ever seen. Each time an Imperial Knights unit from your army advances, until the end of the turn, ranged weapons equipped by Imperial Knight models from your army have the assault ability. Not from the knight that advanced. So if one knight advances, you get assault on your entire army. Now that does literally nothing, because obviously you have to advance to make use of assault. But why is it written so badly? Why is it one knight advances and then the rest of your army gets assault? It should just be, when a knight makes an advance move, it gains assault on its weapons until the end of the turn. Like, done. I don't get why it's worded so terribly, and it's just funny to me. Like you advance one knight and now your entire army's got assault. Like, why? reasons, I guess, but it makes me laugh. Run them through. One Imperial Knights unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. So this one is the... What's this one? Oh, I'm going to guess this is the one I give them Lance. I'm going to guess this is... They had a timing thing where they could wait until your opponent has declared... Oh, no, I know what these are. These were all the ones that cost 3... that could target 3 knights. I remember. Brain work now. So, there was 3 stratagems in this attachment, which would target 3 different knights. So, you would pay 1 CP and you would pick 3 knights. Not small knights, any knights. Big knights, you can tie 3. So, what you would do is, not only is that already stupid as hell, because again, 3 knights getting a stratagem for 1 CP is absurd, but the main thing is you could bring Canis Rex, you would target him as one of those knights. As long as he is one of the knights that is targeted, he could then use his ability to reduce the cost of it by 1. So for 0 CP, you could give every single knight 3 knights in your army, all these rules, whichever one you wanted. And it also made full tilt go down to 1 command point, which means that you could use it turn 1. So turn 1, you could have 3 knights, including Canis Rex, which then would have plus 2 inches to move, plus 2 inches to advance. Crazy powerful, super toxic to the game. I'm glad this has been... I think this is the biggest offender. I think there still might be a problem with the armor good attachment and spamming -1 damage. But happy to see these nerfs coming first to sort of basically just say... oh, I've also just realised that this doesn't give them reroll advances anymore, does it? They lost reroll advances as well. Ooh, okay, cool. They've lost reroll advances as well. So they lost reroll advances. The strats only target 1 knight. Just feels a lot more fairer, a lot better, a lot more better designed. So it still kept the power of it, but it's not absurdly, stupidly powerful. So happy to see that. Good change. I know the book's not even out yet and Knight players are crying, but it's good to see because things like this do need fixing, because it doesn't take a genius to pull up a map, pull up some measurements, and then realise you can have 3 knights in your opponent's deployment zone turn 1. That is not good game design, so I'm happy to see that get killed. Real question, given Necrons and GSA both have an endless waves vibes, how much do you think this means they're doomed to rules changes like this for balance? I think there's a bit of a difference between Necrons. Necrons have an endless stand back up, like you can still nuke it in 1 and just be like, cool, it's dead, it's gone. I hate just the endless respawning because it's just so frustrating to kill a unit. Sometimes that means it means trading is impossible because you can't trade against something that respawns. And GW needs to be careful on respawns because we have seen them nerf all the strats that resurrect a unit to 1 per game, yet they have a detachment rule in GSC which is still potentially bringing back like 5 to 6 units a game. Sorry, so they need to be really careful about that. The Necron one, you have counterplay, you just have to nuke it to death in 1. Don't do chip damage. It's frustrating though, for sure. So it's a hard one to balance, for sure. It's a hard one to balance. Leagues vote on nothing, again, brand new. Oh, I'm just gonna... I need to like zoom out. Let me just let's just do this real quick. They say witnessing your child be born is the most beautiful thing on this planet. I disagree. I think this right here is the truest, most beautifulest moment. This is why Jesus rose from that tomb. He wanted to see this day come. This is the day of reckoning. The Silent King, everybody, has been nerfed. The ignore modifiers aura, that stupid aura that we had admittedly on Mortarion, and we always said it's way too strong for the game and it's a massive feels bad and needs removing, and they haven't printed it since except on the Silent King, has finally been taken out back and gunned down. The rule to ignore modifiers is incredibly... See, Chuck's had a child. He can confirm this was more magical than his child being born. I'm glad you agree, Chuck. So, if If I only get to keep one, no challenger cards or the Silent King nerf.
No.
If what? Oh, that is a huge ass spider. Hello. He's hurt. It's an assassin sent from the Necron players. Are you okay with him existing there, or do you want me to get rid of him?
Sure.
You want to get rid of him, Fia?
Just throwing down my models.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. I have an emergency spider that needs to be removed from the building. Natalie, if you hear screams, imagine that the spider's like just launched itself towards her. Oh dear lord. 2 seconds.
You know it's fell.
Where's it gone?
You know it's fell.
Where's it gone?
I don't know.
Can you see him?
Nope.
Good lord. Where's he gone? Okay, the spider has escaped temporarily. You are not doing me any favours tonight, Natalie. I'm here to talk about balanced Dataslate, and instead here I am slaying spiders. He's fallen.
It's got behind there.
Oh, I can't get behind there, don't worry, he's gone.
It'll be behind all that.
I'm glad he's behind all that, but I can't get to him, he's behind all that stuff. You might have to just deal with it. Oh,
It was huge.
oh dear me.
Kirby's here.
Kirby's here. Kirby's gonna eat the spider now. I can't see him. This
Careful,
is.
you got no pants on.
Shut up, you know. Right, no, you got to do it. I can't sit here trying to get a spider while live stream's on. Sorry, now if he pops up, we'll get him. Right, okay, so once we've stopped being attacked by the the canoptic spider, right, okay, so I'm back. So yeah, it was one of the most toxic rules in the game. You have to just keep your eye on him and see if he pops back
I'm
up.
not sitting down though.
Oh, for God's sake.
Don't crawl up my leg.
He's not going to crawl up your leg, you'll be fine. The Necron's assassin attempt fail. Yeah, I'm trying to get assassinated by a Necron spider over here. So scarabs come from all of my life, which is fair to be honest. So yeah, it's been reworked now to be a aura of 2-inch movement, which is still really good. Like, eat the spider to show dominance. Just grab it off the wall and just chew him. Kirby's here, he'll protect you from him. So having plus 2 inches of movement is still really, really good. I don't think that's going to, like, obviously not as good as ignore modifiers, but it's a very toxic rule to have to just basically say my entire army ignores and negates your rules. We said the same when Mortarion had it. Being able to say you don't get -1 to hit, you don't get -1 to wound, you don't get -1 damage. It's just an incredible feels bad. So this being changed is a lot fairer for the game in general. I think, honestly, like, it's not been replaced with an ability that's terrible. He still also has real ones to hit and wound, so he's still a really good unit. His points, I think, have came down a little bit as well. So I don't feel sorry for Necron players. Like, I don't anyway, but, like, again here. So yeah, would I rather have challenger cards or nerf Necrons? I would still rather nerf Necrons just because it's personally more funny to me. For the game's sake, you should obviously get rid of challenger cards, but getting rid of these is it makes me happy. Are you actually not coming back in? She has run off in fear. She fears the Necron attempt to assassinate her, apparently.
Something has no legs, I'm on 10, I don't like it.
Right, okay, so let's get back to the rest of it. So yeah, so big nerf for Necrons there, happy to see. In general, let me just make this a bit bigger again. There we go. There we go, and down in size. So yeah, happy to see a nerf there to the Silent King. We do not need models like that in the game. They do not do anyone any favours. They just feel incredibly bad to play against. So happy days in general there. There we go, put the screen better. Cool. There we go. It's been an incredibly professional stream, as you can tell. Okay, back to it. So I'm just going to make it actually bigger for everyone to see. So everyone can see everything. There we go. Okay. Then we have Orcs. Orcs got a lot of changes, so can Orcs make a comeback into the meta? Oh, there he is. I can see him now. 1 second, guys.
It's huge.
He's not that big.
What is?
Look out, you. I have my prisoner. I have caught the assassin. I will place him outside for a second. Give me 1 second, guys. He's so unprofessional. So interrupted. I have to extend the stream. Unlike the Necron tier, I am a merciful being and I have released him alive. So he has gone back to the garden. So that was an ordeal. Right, Orcs. So Orcs are got a lot of changes here. So let's go through them real quick. So we have, first and foremost, let's have a look. First change here is the Battle Wagon. Ghazghkull no longer takes up like 1 million spots, and he used to take up like 18 or something daft. So to see this get changed makes him more viable in a transport. So cool little change there. Death Dread. Again, this is what we talk about. Bad units getting their entire rules reworked. Love to see it. So this had a weird Battle Shock rule before. We all know when we see a Battle Shock rule, we roll our eyes. So having the Death Dread now go to impact mortal wounds, plus don't forget it is a walker, so it can, or it's a tank's a vehicle, so it can tank shock. So you got impact mortal wounds followed by potentially tank shock, makes this thing extremely scary on the charge. Is it enough to make him meta? It'd be like saying, does it make a box not meta? Does it make a ballistic dreadnought meta? If they're cheap enough, yes. If they're the same rough points they are, it's a 2-up save vehicle with no invulnerable, with not many wounds. It's not the hardest thing to kill in the world. I can't remember if they're 2-up save or 3-up save. I think they're still 2-up save Death Dreads. Does it see play? Probably not. Like a normal Hellbrute. Like, again, it has to have a very specific rule, specific role. But it is a lot better than it is before. So there's a potential that you could maybe see some come back. I still don't know if it is enough to make enough change, though. Hunter Killrig is now a monster instead of a vehicle. So it can't tank shock. It's immune to haywire, I guess. Yay? Some weird change, but okay. Anti-vehicle obviously doesn't work on it, but again, yeah, who cares? The Saw Blades getting an extra AP, again, not bad. The main things are up here. Ghazghkull Thacker can now also lead boys and knobs, so it's a lot easier, a lot cheaper to get him with a battle bodyguard unit. Mega knobs obviously went up quite a lot in points. They come down now in this slate, but they went up quite a bit because of bully boys. Now you can put him in with, if you just want to have him and basically get him to a fight with bodyguard, boys are going to help you out now. The knobs are going to help you out now. You also get to pick up their relevant abilities there. So the knobs give you -1 to be wounded. Can't remember what the boys' ability is itself, but again, just it's another ways to get Ghazghkull into play. So it looks like really trying to make Ghazghkull get some buffs here without directly buffing him himself, because he's very, very scary. So having him be able to be better fitted in the battle wagon and join extra units, really cool to see. Commandos can also split into 2 5-man, so again, expect to see more commandos, especially now we can do more trading things. That's really cool. And mech guns, little change to the bubble chucker, nothing major. So Orcs here, this is the interesting thing now. Orcs aren't doing well, and they get a bunch of points change as well. The interesting thing about Orcs, this is the interesting bit now. We do not struggle against Orcs in general. We can kill Orcs really, really well, and we can deal with Orcs pretty well. What Orcs do to the game, however, is Eldar really don't like orcs, and Death Guard really don't like Eldar. So if orcs come to more prominence, that means you have more chance to have orc players taking out Eldar players, and then when you run into the orc player, you're going to obviously have a better time than you would against the Eldar player. So realistically, even though this doesn't particularly affect us, because I still don't think these changes change our matchup into orcs that much, I think we're still good into orcs, it directly affects one of our biggest counter armies. And that is only good for us. So I think, again, if we see, like, mass boys, like, again, if Gazgul comes along with a squad of 20 boys, cool, just drown them in anti-infantry flamers, that's no problem at all, we'll kill them easily peasy. But if we see outside of this that they start, like, 5-man commandos could be a bit annoying, so you have to be more finger your trading. But again, we're fine with that. But elves specifically would not like orcs coming back into the meta. We can deal with orcs. If orcs become really prominent, Foul Blight spawns shut down orcs so hard. You shut down the war turn for the advance and charge. You also get the fight first. So you can just bring some of them. Great, you've adapted to an orc meta. Brilliant. But if the orc meta comes and kills elves out the meta, that's pretty good for us. Won't lie, that's pretty good for us. So I can have that. Yes, so yeah, that is correct. You can have my ears mounted to him from the knobs. Nice. So actually, not a direct change really for us in terms of the game, but good buff to orcs that will help with them kill. How are orcs going to Eldar? Because Eldar don't have the ability to deal with them. Like, if the orcs just YOLO charge at them, and again, it's the trade ability. Like, again, like, elves love expensive units that the units can come out, kill, and run away. If it's like 5 commandos will kill a squad of Eldar. Like, just weight a dice pure along. Mass pressure on top of the elves, they can't deal with it. Elves do not like fast pressure, but the reason they can kind of deal, they still don't like Emperor's Children, they don't like World Eaters, don't get me wrong, but they can deal with it because those armies are power armor armies, so that if they can deal enough damage to it and take the teeth out of it, they can do that. If you were to just get the meta Eldar list right now, and you were to just run as much MSU orcs as possible, so tons of Storm Boys, tons of these 5-man commandos, because that's 6 squads of 5 you can have, because you bring 3 squads of 10 and split them all, and then all the other boys and stuff. The Eldar physically cannot kill that many guys, and then the orcs will eventually connect, and when they connect, even 10 orc boys will kill a squad of Eldar. No need for any buffs, because they just have the amount of dice on it. They've got enough strength to wound them reliably. The choppers will do the work, and they kill the elves. And then the elves have less damage to kill back, so it's like, oh, it gets out of control harder. Oh yeah, that's a little change for the thing, Gareth. Thank you. Yeah, so the killer rogue has a bit of an easier time moving. So this is good against for us in terms of the overall metagame, not so much for us directly in the matchup. So really cool to see. Space Marines, nothing. Space Wolves, nothing. Tau, Crybaby's got their Ion Tide buff to strength 10. It's a little better. It's a bit more annoying for us against our bloat drones. It's obviously going to be a lot harder to deal with against those. It's going to hit them a lot harder, but honestly, these things are already scary enough. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to keep crying. They're going to keep getting buffed. But again, the good thing about the Riptide, the good thing about the changes, like even though Tau are getting buffed now, primary once again matters a lot more because challenger cards are gone, and the one thing Tau really suck at is holding a primary and getting primary points. So that's now back to being a way to be able to defeat them quite simply, is just keep taking off primary and winning that way. Whereas before, again, you were having to go for the tabling approach, which, you know, Tau on certain boards can actually do quite a bit of damage, and they've got even more damage here now. So I don't think it overall changes too much. It just means the Riptide's a bit scarier, and, you know, this model that you already saw like 3 of in every list is probably going to still stay as a 3 of in every list. So, yeah, real creative, that one. Thousand Sons got taken out back. Thousand Sons are a tricky army that could actually give us a lot of problems, potentially. It is a good matchup. It's a close matchup, but this really hurts them. Basically, the way it worked before is if they went to do a ritual, like a double move, and they rolled it and they failed it, then they could just pick another unit to try and do it. Now, the second you fail a ritual, that's it. So you fail Doombolt, you don't get to Doombolt this turn. You fail your dual move, you don't get to dual move this turn. That is absolutely brutal. Because I was speaking to the guys in the Chaos Pantheon chat, and he can't reliably plan his turn now. David can't plan his turn anymore, because what happens if you set up for the double move? And whereas before you could put like 3 casters around to make sure it goes off with a reroll and stuff from the CP, now if that first roll fails, you're just screwed. So you can't make any risky plays, you can't do anything smart because there is just a chance you just roll the dice and it says no. And you could lose a game off that because this army is expensive and it's gone up in points as well. So really, really brutal change to the army rule here. I know, I imagine talking to the thousands players. So yeah, it's oof. It's not good. It's not good. And then some small changes to an enhancement and a character here, which are not major, but yeah, it's that itself is not something I really saw coming. It feels like it's a preemptive nerf to them potentially, but that's a big brutal nerf there. Big brutal nerf. Tyranids, nothing changed. World Eaters, good f***ing lord. Exalted 8-bound. 8-bound haven't been taken in a hot while. Exalted 8-bound now have had their entire rule reworked, and it's good because it was a fallback rule for vehicles and monsters. It was shit. Got it reworked. Now it is just straight. When you target a monster or vehicle, add 1 to the damage characteristic of the unit. This means if you have a character attached as well, they will also get the +1 damage. Oh my god. Flat damage 3 on the entire squad versus monster and vehicles, potentially up to 4 with the Slaughterbound. That is what we call horrifying. On top of the ability to give like lethal sustain to the entire army, this change right here, I think makes World Eaters were already starting to find their feet and doing well. This change here, combined with some points drops they've got, I think World Eaters genuinely jumps to the top of the meta. I'm not saying top, but up there with us. Like, I think they are really, really good right now. And the thing is, if they do, and they become popular, it really affects how I play. Because I, for one, for example, the Demon Prince in Virulent Vectorum, I think I just cut. Because the entire point of the Demon Prince is to sit on a point and force a bad trade from my opponent, and potentially live that bad trade if they don't overcommit to it. Exalted 8-bound and a Slaughterbound with an enhancement, or they can play the detachment that gives them +1 damage as a stratagem, will 100% kill that Demon Prince. They will just murk him. Even with -1 damage up, because their rule counters that, and the slot, and then they can use the stratagem to get them back up to damage 3. Or they can damage 4 on the entire squad in the Slaughterbound attachment. That guy isn't living that. And they're also cheap now. So I am personally thinking if World Eaters come into play, that play pattern for Virulent Vectorum becomes a lot worse because the Demon Prince just gets picked up. Super easily, super reliably as well, that's the problem. Because they go lethal sustained, they charge on in, they smack him to pieces, and they kill him. Now, there is counterplay still. You can potentially bring along, Foul Blightspawn in the Plague Marines, use the 3 stratagem to Heroic, and then fight first. That is a counterplay, but again, it changes our list, so either we're dropping the Demon Prince, or our Plague Marine squad is going to have to lose one of its characters in order to fit a Foul Blightspawn in there. Or alternatively, you could try and bring a Foul Blightspawn in your list as a solo piece, and then in that specific matchup, drop them in, swap them out. Potential, but again, it really impacts how we build our list. So I want you guys to understand that. That would, for me, really hurt. COC, would you say COC has become more preferable of all the changes to other armies? I still think VV is really good. Like, VV is more than the Demon Prince. Like, -1 damage is still really good on our infantry models versus World Eaters, because the normal 8-bound is still damage 2. These guys do not get the +1 damage versus Death Shroud Terminator, so you're still dropping them to damage 1. So VV value is still crazy strong. Like, it's still really, really strong. You can go play Champions, but Champions is actually worse at surviving this in terms of our guys, because, again, look at this strength profile, 10. And all the 8-bound are strength 8 with +2 on the charge, and they're going to play that attachment. So they're going to win you on 3s regardless, even at T9. It's not going to help you out. -1 damage, 100% will help you out. So there is a choice to be made, because obviously you have on-demand fight first in COC, which is very, very good. But understand, like, your actual Death Shroud squads and stuff will still prefer VV for the -1 damage, but I don't think the Demon Prince sees play in a meta of World Eaters, especially if they're bringing like 2 squads of these exalted 8-bound, because he will just die. If they had just 1 squad and I could use him to bait them out and kill them, and that squad was super expensive, I would take that trade, But as we've seen, like, as we'll see, like, the points have come down for them. So actually, they're not that expensive, that squad. So they will kill the Demon Prince, up trade it on value. You're down Demon Prince, you will kill them probably. And it's just not, the value is just not there anymore. The value is just not there. So, yeah, well, it is looking real good. So that is all the rules changes. So really cool to see some rules changes. I'm not going to go for all the points here. I'm just going to go for the ones that really matter. So, like, again, small changes. Sisters down, Custode down a little bit. Nothing crazy. Belisarius obviously went up a massive amount to make up for the changes. So did the Iron Striders. Because, again, Twin Link to get is a big buff. So I'm glad to see them getting preemptively made more expensive. Eldari, for some reason, got green. I mean, it's on units you don't really see. So, okay. And, like, this weird Sweeping Hawks build got a bit nerfed. But to see the, not like no Howling Banshees, again, they're fine at 95, but like the Fire Dragons maybe got 10 because they're just really annoying and really obnoxious to deal with. So, again, neither here nor there. I think the meta itself, again, with World Eaters coming back, Emperor's Children looking better with the new Flawless Blades because now they can better deal with the high toughness meta, which means that they could come back into play. We'll also deal with Eldari. World Eaters, Orcs do deal with Eldari real well, so happy with that. Astra Militarum, load of points drops on, it looks it, but it's actually all just the giant tanks. So it's combat engineers a little bit, part of that Gaunt's Ghost. I don't understand this, because Gaunt's Ghost was taking literally every single list, so reasons. But the Rogaldon Tank Commander, getting its knees capped a little bit there, trying to stop the spam, I guess, but the one thing I don't understand is if you were running like Lord Solar and Gaunt's Ghost, that's like minus 30, so it makes up for any losses you got here. It's really a wash in general, and don't think it's that big of a deal. Black Templars, 2 new to change. Blood Angels, again, going up in the points in the Sanguinary Guard, but I think the 15 points there brings them to a more reasonable cost, and you get that side grade of also going to Weapon Skill 2, so I genuinely think if you are a Blood Angels player, I would happily take this small points increase to get that Weapon Skill 2, so, again, pretty good, pretty good. Chaos Demons, Keeper of Secrets came down, still suck. Fiends came down, actually still pretty good. That's an interesting one. Part of that, nothing really changes. Chaos Knights, nothing changed. Chaos Space Marines, they got some little points drops. Abaddon's down. Everyone else's Land Raider went down 20 except ours because we can't have any nice things. Dark Commune went up another 10 points. Venom Crawler down 10 points. Why this thing is still more expensive than our Demon Engines, I still don't understand. Like, the Venom Crawler genuinely needs to go down to like 100. And then, like, maybe it can see some play. It's not very good. Anything else here? Dark Angels, Dark Shroud, don't really care much. We didn't get touched, thank God, again, so we are basically the same position we were in, which is really good. Deathwatch down a bunch, probably still not going to see them much. Drakari, genuinely doesn't matter. Emperor's Children, again, coming down. Land Raider down, Fulgrim down, which really doesn't make any difference because you're still not going to take him. The Cacophonist going up is really random and really kind of sucks because it means, like, they're actually just, in general, like, if you think of this average EC list that was already underperforming, you now are not going to be taking Land Raider. You weren't anyway, so you haven't saved 20 points. You weren't taking Fulgrim anyway, so you're not saved 25 points. You were taking 1 to 2 Lord Cacophonist, so you've gone up 20 points for no reason. Why? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. GSC, a couple more runarounds here. The Ridge Runners went up in points good because they are obnoxiously good with their little indirect marking stuff for extra AP. The Outland Jackals 100% needed to go up a bit. The Mortal Wound Spam is super annoying. Couple changes. The Primus went down because his rule obviously got changed. Big Genestealers went down. Again, small little things. Nothing too crazy here. I think the nerfs to the rules more than helped that. Grey Knights getting some Land Raider drops. Cool. No one cares about Imperial Agents at all. Part of the Imperial Agents who cry. Imperial Knights Codex has also took some, I don't know if these are actually point nerfs here, or if these are just like, because again, they do some weird things. Like, a lot of the enhancements have changed, which is good, because a lot of these are very powerful. Crusader went up 20 points. A lot of them have come down like 10, I'm guessing from the Codex points, I guess. The Knight Defender, I have no idea where it came down. The Knight Defender is like one of the most powerful ones in there. So to see him come down is very weird. Happy to see all the Cerastuses go up, though, because, again, they're just really annoying to balance, especially the Lancer. The Lancer being 400 points feels a lot better than it was at like 365. So, yeah, these are like, again, we have to see how it plays out. The rules changes might have been enough to sort this one out. Armigers didn't go down, did they? No. So, hopefully, oh, wait, did they? Yeah, okay. I don't think these needed to come down. I really don't think Armigers needed to come down in points. I think they could sit at 150, just like Chaos Knight ones, and see how they got along there for a bit. Do worry about that massive spam one, so we'll have to see. Leagues, doesn't matter, brand new. Necrons, Silent King came down 20 points, which is good. because he's no longer 420 because he's not cool enough to earn that points cost. So happy to see him, but he obviously got nerfed with his rules change. So that's fair. Triarch Praetorians, because again, we have to give them something. I'm fine with this. Praetorians you don't really see play, so for them to come down 10 points is cool, but just weird again. Why do Necrons always be like get a little bit of something? It's like don't worry, it's okay, Here you go, have something down, Ooh, can I say someone? I swear to God, the Carnivore is 150. I swear to God, the Carnivore is 150. I thought it got put up to 150 recently, the Carnivore. I'm gonna find out. Or do you mean those specific ones in Thingy? Because I'm pretty sure the Carnivore was a 150. Someone fact check that for me. Orcs, tons of points drop. So again, Orcs looking like they could be making a comeback in the game. A couple of key models coming down, Meganob especially here. War bosses, decent. Beast boss, pretty good. Flash kits coming down on the big squad, so you could see them. Yeah, there's one for... Yeah, see. That's where you get Ben. I know what you mean, though, Ben. You're on about our version of their knight. But I still think 150 should just be like the Armager cost minimum for any of that. Again, it's just a 14 wound T9, 3-up, 5-up invulnerable thing. So, I'm always hesitant to make them too cheap. He says with super cheap demon engines. Irony. Marines, Aggressors got cheaper at max squad. JPIs went up at max squad, don't know why. Ballistas went up good, that was way too cheap. 6 Blade Guy went up again, Blade Guy too cheap. So, just seems like they're putting the 6-mans up and a random Land Raider drop and a random Gladiator Valiant drop. Probably not making too much difference. Storm Raven didn't get touched. I thought that would genuinely go up in points. Gilliman's got up 20 points though, to sort of like, I guess that hurts a little bit, which is, again, fair enough, we needed that. I thought the Storm Raven would genuinely go up. That thing is stupid, and I hate that Stormlance build, so I thought I would honestly go to 300, but again, we'll have to see how it plays out. Space Wars, a lot of points increased as well, which is fair enough. Tau, once again, their crying has prevailed. They've got a bunch of points drops as well on some Crisis suits. Farsight, Broadsides have gone down 10 points as well each. Reasons again, I don't know why. And a Firesight team, which no one ever really took anyway, so nothing changing there massively. T-Suns again, absolutely obliterated. On top of the points rules, this is really brutal. The bows were stupid cheap. They really needed to go up. So going to 110... Again, I don't get why this is not 120 points for the bows. It should just be double. I don't know why they have a weird 10-point discount. But yeah, more points nerfs. They're going to lose like quite a bit here. If you took an Infernal Mass, that's 10. Magnus was in the list, that's 25. You took 3 units of Bow Goats, that's 90. They almost cut like 100 points nerf there. So that is pretty. The Raven Guard Shrike JPI combo, I don't think it was that big of a thing. It was just 10 JPIs and a Shrike, so basically they can uppy downy and have a bit of like loan up and then go in, do a bunch of mortal wounds, strike, and then piss off back into reserve. I really don't think it was that big of a deal, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it was that good, but maybe it's preemptive nerf, who knows. Tyranids, Genestealers down in the big squad, that's fine. Tervigon down. Morlock down. I thought I said Maliceptor down then, I was about to have a heart attack. Neurolictor, again, I don't think this guy needs to come down. Loan up, they have so much cheap loan up already, don't need to give him any more, but sure. And then World Eaters. Angron down, still probably not usable. He's just 360 points for a missile. Probably still too expensive. Land Raider down. Spawn up 10, fair enough. Those Spawn are pretty damn good. Chaos Terminators came down. 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound down. 40 points on the 6-man squad. That is crazy drop. Even the 20, like 3 guys for 140 points, which will pick up tanks with flat damage 3. Like, even if with no character in there, you can obviously put a Slaughterbound in there, but like 140 points, bare bones. Good lord, don't let it touch your vehicles at all. You're going to see them. You're definitely going to see 8-bound coming back into the game. Forge Fiend's up, thank God, that kind of needed to be happening, those things were stupid. Can the Betrayer up 15, that's probably fair, like he's very, very, very powerful. He has a stand back up when he dies as well. A bit like a lot of Contagion in a way, but just a bit different. So him going to 100 points is more than fair enough in general as well. So I mean, like, overall, what has massively changed in the game? Challenger cards are dead. So the game can go back to winning the game off primary denial, outscoring your opponent. So I agree, Connor. I agree on that one. I think you are better doing the three. Like I said, 3 mana I think is just more efficient. Especially if you put a slaughterbound in there, you'd be happy with that. So challenger cards are gone. Scoring lists are back in the game. So you might see things like the Kroot list come back into the game. You might see things like which Ross used to run. You might see like again Shamble Rock for us technically gets better from this. You can play the trading games. You don't have to focus too much on just absolutely tabling your opponent anymore, which is all healthier for the game. Now, obviously, you can still obviously play the table, but I'm happy we can play to just outscore opponent. It means me I like stuff like 5-man Marines a lot better as well now, because again, I can just play to deny primary and take over that. I think it opens up Taliban list creation to be more than just Great Unclean One spam as well, because 5-inch charges from Deep Strike with 20 OC on Plague Bearers is really good. So I think that opens up play there for that as well. I think the meta in general doesn't change horrendously much. I think we obviously come down a little bit. We obviously got out like absolute bandits here with some of our top things coming down around us. T-Sun's obviously got the worst end of it, and GSC got the worst end of it. What do I see at top? Eldar's still going to be up there. Eldar is still going to be really up there. Again, really depends how much the fast melee armies come back into the game. If we see World Eaters, Emperor's Children, Orcs come back into the game, Eldar's going to start to struggle again. And we are okay against those armies, so it could be a net positive for us. We need to see how stuff like Leagues of Votann is going to impact the game, because again, they're really weird at the moment. They're still being figured out. They seem fairly fair. They don't seem overpowered, but they don't seem as bad as people first thought, myself included. So happy to be wrong on that one. Knights is obviously going to be a big question. We need to see how Imperial Knights play, because are we still in a Knight meta? Now, here's the thing. Can we exist in a Knight meta when a World Eaters player, the single Slaughterbound, can pick up an entire Knight, pretty much, in Exalted Bound? So, can the Big Knight list even exist in a world where World Eaters just got buffed? I don't know. I think this could be the end of the big Knight meta. I think instead we'll go back to seeing a lot more of the smaller Knights in combination with the big Knights, because I genuinely think if an Imperial Knights player runs into like a World Eaters player who's got a few squads of Exalted 8-bound, like, you just die. Like, you just get killed. Like, they're fast, they can go up to damage 4 in the right detachment, just absolutely murder something. So, I genuinely think, like, we might see people will try the 4 or 5 big Knights out at first. I think they'll get absolutely clapped by World Eaters. And then I think people will start going, I think Imperial Knights will go back to Armiger spam with -1 damage Armigers, because that makes them a lot harder to trade into with the +1 damage being negated pretty much. Still probably a good chance they'll just kill it anyway. But again, losing 1 Armiger and then you trade the whole Exalted squad back from a Hell Room with its flat damage 3 guns because they're still squishy. So I think the Knights meta build could genuinely get changed quite a bit. I think I agree, Ben. I don't think the Chaos Knights Wardog build is anywhere near as good as the Imperial Knights Wardog build, Armiger build. I think they're just far superior than ours in that terms, despite having like 6 different variants over them. So I think Chaos Knights stay with the big build, and again, just have to pray they don't get the World Easy matchup, and probably stays like a 4-1 army. 4-1 army is still a fine place to be, 4-1. 5-0 potentially with a good run if you don't run into one of those hard counters. Emperor's Children could see a comeback into the game. Really depends though, because those extra points, those Lord Coffins kind of hurt. I hope we see Flawless Blades come into the game. I'll be really interested to see how Flawless Blades impact the game, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not asked about Flawless Blades. If we -1 damage that, like, cool, they're 1 damage against us. 4 attacks is good and all, but it's like not going to help them against Death Guard, so that's a matchup we can win. So I'm totally fine against that if Flawless Blades start becoming meta for there. But again, it could be good against other armies, so happy with that. Orcs, we naturally have a good matchup into anyway, so I'm fine with that matchup. The biggest thing for us really is going to be like a Blood Angels. Like, Blood Angels could be interesting, because Blood Angels, even though we say we have a natural advantage into these matchups, they can still hurt really hard. They're still very fast, so it's quite a thinking game versus Blood Angels. Are we skewing more anti-infantry then? We have to see. This is the thing. We really have to. HBL drones you're still going to take, because again, like, if we look at the what you're going to start seeing, Exalted 8-bound, Flawless Blades, things like that, flat damage 3 is still just going to be really good at killing those things. You still want flat damage 3. You could make an argument though for Predators more if we go infantry heavier, because it's still got flat damage 3 autocannon, plus you can set up things like your Flamers getting the extra AP on them and stuff like that. But still, I think you're probably still going to bring in HBLs. And you're probably still going to bring Haulers because the multi-metal is just good. It's efficient points, efficient unit. We kill infantry well anyway. If you take any of the lists that we were already running with, killing infantry is not something Death Guard struggle with. But it's going to depend if we see that happen. Because nothing here, nothing I've seen here screams, oh my god, vehicles got so much better. Knights, things to kill vehicles got better. Knights got nerfed. Both versions. And nothing else outside of that buffed vehicles. Like, we saw a little buff to, like, Blood Angels getting, you know, that extra, like, weapon skill there. Emperor's Children getting buffed for the Flawless Blades. Nothing buffed vehicles. Part AdMech. AdMech, like, Chicken Walkers and the Onaga Doom Claws are the only things that really got buffed. So they could potentially, like, bring, like, this, like, Onaga... I really want to get... Nat, can I buy AdMech? Please. Guys, let them buy me AdMech. I really love the Onaga Doom Crawler. It's such a cool looking tank. The little crab thing. Like, it's got a massive base though. So we could see, I think it's good to see these infantry builds getting buffed and nothing changed for vehicles. I still think vehicles in general could all go up 10% in points. But we're really, really going to have to see what happens. But I think the game, as I look at it right now, do I look at this balanced data slate and think, oh my god, this army is now overpowered? Into any of them? No. World Eaters, maybe. But not overpowered. I think it's just going to be extremely strong. But I think, again, in terms of Death Guard's opinion on that, we have abilities to sort of deal for that. We have the account. We have tools for that. Do I look at this data slate though and say, no, Nat said yes. You just didn't hear it. By AdMech. Oh, cool. Ah, okay. Thank you, Necros. I'm glad to hear, mate. I'm glad you said yes. And as an aside, do I look at this and think any army got absolutely dumpstered? Unfortunately, yes. T-Sons really didn't need it. Genestealer Cults, I think, will probably just flex into a different build, although it does really hurt probably their best build. But again, it's such a small player base, we'll have to see if there is a build that comes out of that. But, like, T-Sons specifically probably got done a little too harsh in this one. Done a little bit dirty here. They might be towards the bottom of the pile, we'll have to see. But that's the only thing that screams out here like was a big miss in this. I think they went too hard on Thousand Sons. Part of that, though, in general, we just got to have a quick recap. Points changes, fairly minor, but decently. Nah, Guard are fine. Guard are alright. Like, Rogel, like I said, the Guard one's weird because the Rogel Dawns went up, which is, you know, not great, obviously. But the things that you were taking anyway, like Gaunt's Ghost came down 10, Leontus came down 20. So if you were only taking like 2 Dawns anyway, that's negated by the fact you were taking Gaunt's Ghost, because everyone takes that anyway. And if you took Leontus, like there you go, you're actually up 10 points. So unless you were spamming like 5 of these things, Irvin, Dave, I actually don't think Guard did too bad out of this. I think Guard are okay. I think they're pretty good. I don't think they're near the top of the game. I think, again, Emperor's Children World Eaters could potentially give them a bit of a problem. But honestly, I think Guard's still fine. I think they're still more than capable of doing well at the moment. I don't think there is anything here that like stands out as being broken or anything like that. I think Guard's fine, honestly. This could be interesting. Like, Kree Combat Engineers going down to the 5-man's a bit cheaper. Maybe you could look at bringing 3 5-mans for the mortal wound spam they can do. But again, maybe. But really, it's just the Rogue Dart. It's 10 points. If you weren't spamming them, you're not going to have that big of a problem. You're going to lose 20 points. You find 10 here, find 10 somewhere else. Or if you've got Leontus, you're actually up 10, which cool. You can upgrade an enhancement. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of changes. Nothing drastic. Just for me, the real losers are the Thousand Sons. And the rest of it looks pretty good to me. I think we're going to be in for a very interesting meta going forward. I think there's going to be a lot of viable stuff. Eldari potentially could have got more nerfs. I think this may be another miss here. So we'll have to see. I know you love your Siege Regiment there, Matt. Yeah, it would be cool if they did buff it. It's a bit unreliable, the Siege one, because you have to like roll for certain abilities to go off, and it can feel a bit bad if they don't go off when where you want them to. But overall, I'm happy with it, and we got out like absolute bandits. I'm not gonna lie, we got out so happy, and challenging cards being gone is better for the game health in general. So yeah, it's not really like, despite it being quite a large update with like lots of changes and lots of points changes and a couple unit profiles here and there. There isn't too much strictly to talk about. I just hope that the Knight meta now is actually gone. There's some good nerfs there to Knights. I think we could be away with the Knight meta. I think it's still going to be really good, but it's going to be toned down, which is exactly what I want it to be. I don't want any army to be unviable. The last ignore modifiers are in the game is gone. Really good for the game, like genuinely happy about that. We have been given another chance to breathe before they decide to like whether they want to actually murder off our faction or not. So I'm glad, I'm happy with GW for like giving us that extra little bit of time to see the nerfs take effect, the points changes. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I still think Death Guard. I can do a tier list if you guys want later in the week. Tier lists are always fun to make. I still think Death Guard are probably going to be up in A tier. I don't know about S tier. I don't know about S tier. I don't know if any armies are really in S tier at the moment now after that. I think there's going to be a few in A tier. But I think the game, and the cool thing is when the Drakari Codex is out, are we still in F meta? I think we're actually in Y meta now. We've come out of F, we skipped over Z and we've gone straight to F meta. I think when Drakari come out, the interesting thing is all the books are out then. We finally made it, guys. It only took 2.5 years. We finally made it. Every single book's out. Then they can fully work on just the balance, but it doesn't really matter because obviously the new edition will be announced next year and then blah, 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 it'll go crazy. They'll do something stupid in the next season where it's like the last time where they've literally got rid of Force Org. They'll do something like that. But for now, this could potentially be one of the best metas we're going to have. One of the most balanced, one of the most fair. I'm interested to see how it goes forward. I think we may need to look at how we build our list a little bit differently, but we'll have another stream on that on Tuesday, because again, we've already mentioned some examples like the Demon Prince potentially getting dropped in VV, etc. But yeah, this was just a quick recap looking at the changes that have happened here. So hopefully you guys in the chat are also happy with the changes here. We dodged a bullet, we Matrix dodged it, so happy to see. How good are we versus Necrons? A lot better now. The Silent King's nerfed, a lot better now. They can no longer, you can now have -1 damage Death Shroud Terminators not get one tap by Doomsday Arcs, because he can't ignore -1 damage anymore. That is a literal double durability buff. You are now twice as durable versus Doomsday Arcs. Twice as durable. Real good. Oh, if only that was an option, Kevin. If only that was an option. We'll never do that, unfortunately, my friend. They will never do that. So, I will love yous and leaves for now tonight, though, guys. Thank you for tuning in for tonight. It's again just a quick one over. Always nice to see these things come out, even if it was released at a silly time and a bit early. But hopefully, going forward, we'll have a nice, balanced, more closely represented meta. Bit more diversity at the top as well. It won't just be Knights on every table and like the odd Eldar player and then Death Guard. Hopefully, you know, we start to see some of the armies that we like to prey upon coming out. Because I think if Death Guard gets better, it's not because Death Guard is stronger than it was obviously going here. But I think the meta of the fast melee armies could potentially better suit us. But again, that's going to impact the list we bring, because we're going to start bringing things like Foul Blight Spawn. You look at Champions and Contagion for Fight First. Different builds for different things. And even Typhus and 20 Poxwalks is looking really interesting to me right now. Like, genuinely, like, putting them up to T6. Like, that's an annoying unit to trade into for melee armies. So, super, super excited to see where we go from here. And I'm excited again. I'm excited again. So, we'll have to see. And again, different builds for Taliban. Scoring is back on the game. Shamblewat's looking stronger, sorry. Loads of things to talk about. And we'll get to them on the Tuesday stream when I've got the entire gang back here together so we can all discuss it together. So, for now, though, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves for this hour or so that you've been with me for a bit of chit-chat. I will be back, as I said, on Tuesday. I am working on a video, actually, right now, which is about playing Death Guard like World Eaters. So it's how to play aggressive Death Guard. Because I've been learning it myself. A lot of people... it was inspired by a Reddit comment that I actually read, where someone was basically saying that, hey, I like Death Guard, I like the aesthetics, and they look really cool, and it's my favourite models, but my friends told me, like, I like playing aggressive. My friends told me that this is the wrong army for me then, because it's slow, it can't play aggressive. What absolute tosh. So, I'm working on that, hopefully get that up in the next day or two, and you guys can enjoy that as well as the stream. And then I'll get an Infection Critical up, so we can start looking at some of the lists that are going to doing well in this new meta from what we've already seen from the points changes, because I didn't want to make one in case we've got any extra changes to rules, but because we haven't, we can look at those and actually make a video on it. For now, everybody, thank you so much. Appreciate it, Scrounger King. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in tonight, guys. Hope you have a good one. And I'll fit in a Plague Surgery, because this is obviously taking the Plague Surgery slot. So do not worry. I will get a Plague Surgery in this week at some point. But for now, thank you so much for joining in. I will catch you all on the next episode. Imagine Aiden posting a guide on how to play aggressive. I know, what a world, eh? Have a nice evening, buddy. Stay right, stay positive, and have a good time playing Warhammer. I will catch you all on the next episode, back with Dave and Will on Tuesday. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now. I can never find the button ever.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged blade meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.